you ready to shape the future of leadership? The Africa Future Leaders Institute of Global Affairs presents African Women in Global Leadership Program, a 5-weekend transformational experience designed for upwardly mobile female professionals. This program blends deep theoretical insights, real-world case studies, and dynamic workshops to equip you with the tools for transformational leadership, policy impact, and global engagement. Starting the 6th of September, 2025. Time 8:11 a.m. GMT, 1 p.m. Eastern Africa Time, 12 o'clock p.m. SAT. Participation fee, only $250 for the full 5 weekends. This is your opportunity to lead boldly, influence globally, and stand out as a woman of purpose in a changing world. Follow us on all social media platforms to register now. Visit www.afliga.org. Let your global leadership journey begin today.
Good morning, Africa, and welcome to the Channel 63 broadcasting right from the Africa Future Leaders Institute of Global Affairs here in Accra. And today, as you know, we are privileged to be hosting the technical advisor to the Minister of Education in Ghana and the former Pro-Vice Chancellor of the University of Cape Coast in Ghana, Professor K.T. Oduro, my good friend, my colleague, and it's always a pleasure to have such an interaction with him. Prof, I call him Kwaku. It's a pleasure to have you.
Pleasure seeing you and meeting you.
Thank you so much.
And God bless you for the good work you are doing for the youth of this country.
To God and country.
To God and country.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you so much. Prof, I can't tell you how happy I am having you in our studios here to be discussing issues to do with the future of our continent and of our country. And here specifically, we are focusing on the young people with reference to education. But before we do that, Prof, a lot of young people think that today the world we live in is like the microwave. You just put in something and then you can just press something and you get whatever you are looking for. So let's begin by telling us, did Prof become Prof on the silver platter? How did it all begin?
Well, thank you very much, and greetings to listeners. George K.T. Oduro, in full George Kokutuku Oduro,
yes.
Has a very historic background. I come from a very poor background, and so it will interest you to know that I didn't get the opportunity of attending a secondary school. Yeah, so I don't have any secondary school made. I always say that it is my wife's secondary school that has provided me some form of affiliation. That is Swedro Secondary School. Oh, and because of my wife, and she's Georgina too, so...
Almost like your sister.
Yeah, like my sister, yeah. You know, when I completed middle school, by then we had common entrance examination. I wrote and passed, and I was to go to the secondary school. But my parents could not afford. My dad was a policeman, and he retired as a police sergeant. My mom was a petty trader. And I remember, the moment I mentioned my mom's trade, I remember the role I played. Even when I was attending school in the Volta region, specifically a place called Akachi. When it was break time, I had to run home to go and pick some of the things my mom was doing and sell at the lorry park. In the evenings, I had to move and sell this local pomade. In the area, they call it amishishi. And as I hawk, you will hear me shouting, "Miyomba Revi Amishishito." Simply translated, call me a young boy selling pomade.
Right.
Okay. So these were some of the things that I went through because home was not very good. So I could not attend secondary school. And I had thought that my dad was the most wicked father I had ever found because my teacher went and told him that, look, if he was able to raise money to send me to secondary school, there was a high possibility of me winning a Ghana Cocoa Marketing Board scholarship. But my brother, my dad couldn't get it. One day my dad called me and told me, Kweku, Ohieni doneba onhu in Akan language, literally translated, it is difficult for a poor father's son or child to appreciate the depth of love that the poor father has for him.
Absolutely.
Then he went on to say that I should humble myself, for humility will send me places where poverty or money could not send me. And he encouraged me to go to the teacher training college, because then you did not need money to enter the teacher training college because to allowances. And he said he wanted me to be a teacher because once you enter the teacher training college to do a post-middle training, it will inspire you to study hard because you need to study in order to deliver. But then, my brother, I didn't want to become a teacher. Wow. Simply because I had not seen any of my teachers owning a bicycle tie then. And so I thought teaching, you will not get money. So I didn't want to go. This notion changed when, as a houseboy, I became a houseboy. When, as a houseboy, my master went on trek, came back. It was with one oil company called Ajip, now Goyal. Went on trek, came back, had some figures written on paper, pieces of paper. He called me and asked, Kweku, do you know how to write? I responded in the affirmative. He gave me a foolscap sheet and asked me to transfer the figures on the pieces of paper onto that sheet. Wow. So I did. When he saw the handwriting, he said, hey, what handwriting, where is your father? Doc, my brother, that was the change. Wow. This man went to see my father, engaged him, and told him that, look, I had prospects. So he should try and send me to the secondary school. And my father told him his condition and repeated that same thing, that it is difficult for a poor, a son's father to appreciate. So the man came back and then counseled me. He told me how he himself started his life as a teacher, made reference to Kwame Nkrumah, made reference to Dr. Buzia, talked about J.B. Dankwa, and said they all started as teachers. Right. And so I should heed my dad's advice and then go. That's how come I went to Enchi College of Education, formerly Enchi Training College. And I always tell people that I went to the best college of education in Ghana because it is through Enchi Training College that I have been where I am now, and I became a teacher. And I've never regretted becoming a teacher. Now, I kept mentioning Volta region, so someone may think that I hail from Volta region.
And you speak a dialect very well.
I speak, read, and write Anglo, because I studied it in school. But I'm a Fanti from a village called Agunal Safudi. I shouldn't call it a village because it's not a time. Yeah, it's about 5 minutes drive away from Swedru Secondary School in the Agunal East District. So my brother, this where I was. Now, when I entered the teacher training college. The principal, I was very young when I entered teacher training college, 18 years. Okay. So, and by then, I had my father's mates who had taught as people teachers for a very long time, also entering. So when I entered, I was a very young person. And when it came to class captain, they said it was a messenger work, and I was the youngest, So they asked me to become, and I became the class captain, not knowing the class captainship went with some privileges. Interesting. You were not involved in any manual work. You had so many privileges. But this is what the Lord did. Now, the principal developed special interest in me. He called me and told me that, look, you are young. I want you to write a GCE O-level as a private candidate before you complete. And he himself started teaching me government. He told me he saw prospect of leadership in me. So he started teaching me government.
The principal himself?
The principal himself. May his soul rest in peace. He's one Mr. Apila from the Nzema area. Then he tasked some of the teachers to help me in mathematics, English. And so I studied privately and wrote the GCE O-level. Subject I feared most was mathematics. In fact, when I was in school, subjects that started with M, they were not my friends. Music and mathematics. And it was all because of the way they were taught, But then when the result came, I had credit in mathematics. And in all that, then I said, thank God. That inspired me. So when I completed and then was posted to Takoradi Middle School, Presby Middle School, Trinity Presbyterian Middle School. I thought, no, I should continue with the GCA level. More so, when I saw that some of my mates at the middle school who had the privilege of going to secondary school couldn't make it and were preparing for resetting, then I thought, no, I should actually build on this. I tried the A levels. The first result came, it was aggregate 15 EE. Wow. Then I said, no, I'll do it again. I tried, and I got aggregate 14. Just then, I saw an advert from Advanced Teacher Training College, a diploma in music and others. And with how do you call it? Postmiddle certificate in education, and then professional switch, and then one GCE level, we qualified. So I applied and went and did diploma in education. And then from there, I was posted to the north, a place called Bimbila. So I went and taught at Bimbila College of Education. And then still, because I was now yearning for further studies, I explored also through council, and then entered the University of Cape Coast, did education B.Ed. When I completed, I had first class. So the university retained me as teaching assistant, and I kept studying, and I finally got scholarship to University of Cambridge. You know, so this where my background is very poor. So to young people who think that life is all money, life is all easy, my dad told me that, look, you must operate on the principle of chin-chin, saw-saw, saw-saw, chin-chin. And he said, it is very good to operate on the principle of chin-chin, saw-saw, suffer to gain, rather than gaining and suffering. And I think that has worked with me. I regret that my dad is not alive to see how his words have translated into reality. So my brother, to the young people, I say that there is a building block. Absolutely. You need to patiently establish yourself strongly in the foundation. It is only when you have strong foundation that your future would actually be bright.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You know, I am listening to you, and I see a lot of resonance, because your background and my background is similar. I didn't see my father.
Oh, okay.
My father passed when I was 1 year, 6 months. My mother never sat on a school chair before. I started life as a shoe shine boy. And after shoe shining, in fact, when I was doing I passed common entrance 4 times.
Okay,
I
wrote and passed
right?
once.
I passed 4 times. There was no one to pay my fees, so I couldn't go.
Yeah.
So after Form 4, I had to go. I was selling foodstuffs. I used to go to Begrob, so Fanchrico. I'll buy all these things, put them in the train, bring them to Accra to come and sell, and all of. When I was doing my A levels, I used to sell banku and soup on my head as the school prefect.
Oh, okay.
To pay for my, A-level registration before I came to University of Ghana.
So if you were in the Volta region, you would have said, "Me yombe banku
trala." Interesting. But for the young people who are listening to us, I think this is really, really an inspiring message for you. That it doesn't matter where you come from. You may have been born into a pit, but you don't have to die in the pit. You can come out of that hole and let the dream God has given you become a reality.
Yeah, perseverance yields success.
And so chin-chin, as Prof has indicated.
Chin-chin, so.
Prof, I mean, your background is very inspiring. But so, my question is, you've been a Pro-Vice Chancellor, and today you find yourself in the seat of a technical advisor to no other person but a Minister of Education. So, tell us, what is your vision together with the minister in this particular role that you are playing? Looking at your background, looking at the old concept of education and where we are now, vis-a-vis where the country is going and all of that. What is your role there now as a technical advisor?
Thank you very much. One writer whose definition of education has had much influence on me is John Dewey, who defines education as a process of making one useful to himself and to his society. So any educated person is expected to be useful to himself or herself and then to the society in which he or she lives.
All right.
Which implies that education must aim at developing a balanced personality for an individual. And to get a balanced personality, you need to focus on the head, the intellect, which psychologists will refer to as the cognitive dimension.
Sure.
You need to focus on the heart, which with the affective domain of the character. You need to develop on the hand, the skills. These three needs to be balanced.
Absolutely.
And I have realized from my background, the way my father brought us up. You know, my father was a policeman, and yet, well, I won't say yet, discipline was key.
Disciplinarian.
Okay? A disciplinarian.
Right.
And then he was a Presbyterian too. Not a Presbyterian, but a Basel. You know, discipline was very helpful.
Right.
My dad ensured that there was a balance between your study, your attitude, and what you do.
Right.
And so this corroborated what the education system at the time, so because we had courtesy for boys and girls, which helped us to know what is expected of us as young people in the society in terms of the heart attitude, your character, and all those things. Now, these things we have missed in our country now. And my mind goes to the 2011 Jakarta Declaration in Indonesia, where they declared that there must be a balance because he said, when wealth is lost, you have lost nothing.
Absolutely.
Because with good health, with right attitude, you can regain your
wealth.
If health is lost, you have lost something. Because with the right attitude, you can regain your health. But when character is lost, you have lost everything. Let's take health. If the doctors tell you that, look, take this drug, medicine in this prescription, and your character, your attitude does not help you. If the doctors tell you to stop drinking alcohol and you continue doing it, if you do not go by principles, you cannot get your health.
Absolutely.
If they tell you that you must take time, study, develop the skills that you need to help you create wealth. Now we're talking about entrepreneurship.
Absolutely.
You need creativity, you need critical thinking, you need patience, you need foresight. If you don't go by this, you cannot make health.
Right.
So if character is lost, everything is lost. And this is what myself, and strangely, my minister also has so much passion for value-laden curriculum.
Wonderful.
And because of that, he says that this must start at KG level. So currently, the curriculum is being reviewed, anchored on value-laden character.
Right.
Because he believes, and I also believe, that in 10 years, 15 years, the trend we are seeing now, if we do not revert it, it will be very challenging for our nation. Look at our secondary schools.
Right.
Secondary schools. It's never happened that a secondary school student in Ghana would pull belt and lash his master, his teacher.
His teacher.
It has never happened that a secondary school child will pull gun and shoot. But these things are coming up. So unless our school system balances the heart with the hand and the skills, the future will be bleak.
You know,
and this is what we are.
Prof, let me just read some few statistics that have come up, and then you tell us what do you consider to be the gaps. And being a technical advisor to the minister, and thankfully you said, as you have indicated, the minister, is very passionate about reviewing this curriculum to ensure that we have an education that is value-driven. Now, look at this. In 2022, a total of 102,673 teenagers in Ghana became pregnant, right? With Savannah region seeing the highest regional rate at 25.9%. Greater Accra had 6%. Now, if you come to dropout rates, we have in rural deprived areas about 70% of primary school pupils never transition to the junior high school. You come to examination malpractices, it's just worse. WASSCE malpractice surged by 2% of all candidates in 2021. In fact, the aggregate statistics between 2020 and 2024 show that 2024, 532,891 subjects results withheld. And if you come to the recent things that we are seeing, BEC 2020-2023, 599 candidates, 653 results were cancelled. We're not getting it right. So my question is, and this is something that I'm happy to hear that the minister is looking at very importantly. What has been the gap? From your own professional, you are one of the best educational professors in Africa, if not the world. What do you consider to be the gaps? What have we missed?
Thank you. When you said I'm one of the best professors, then it reminded me.
Yes. And your father would have been proud if he was still alive.
Oh, yeah, as for that. But you know that my 12-year-old child taught me a lesson.
Right.
That a professor doesn't know it all.
Right. That's true.
One day, he came home with an assignment. It was ICT related, and specifically on CPU. Then he said he didn't understand it. So, Daddy, can you help me? I don't understand this. But I looked at it, and I knew nothing about it, my brother. I advised him to wait for his mother, who is very good in that. She's also a professor. And so when his mother came, this boy followed his mother to the room, kitchen and asked, Mama, Daddy, on your professor. Is Daddy not a professor?
Yes.
You know. So I just want to clear to the audience know that I'm talking from experience,
Sure.
not that I know it all.
Sure.
My brother, we have a challenge.
Right.
And that challenge for me stems from three key areas.
Right.
One, the get-rich orientation. That young people think that, look, Dr. Ade to me is riding in a Benz. So even though I'm not prepared for that, I must also get Benz.
Right.
And so there's quick way means of getting that. And because of that, they resort to so many things, the outcome of which we find here, pregnancy and others. A young girl, I was very shocked, a JHS girl, I'm very shocked, who made iPhone the preference compared to textbooks.
Wow.
Okay, she wants iPhone, not just any other phone at that age. So such a girl, what do you think she will react to when there's a means for that? These are some of the things. The second issue is credentialism. We have placed so much emphasis on labels, credential labels,
Professor.
first class, second class. So our school system has now become more examination oriented. Headmasters think that, look, if my children do not get that much, my school wouldn't be, respected. And so I must do everything I do. And one headmaster told me, look, George, whether you like it or not, your image, the image of your school, and the sustainability of your position depends on the number of people who pass. And so me, if I see that my children are not doing well, either I don't register all of them, I register the good ones, or I inject some of them. Then I ask, inject? Oh, yeah, inject is that you help them, you get some teachers prepared. So this is the moral degeneration that we are saying. The last one I want to talk about is that our churches, in the past, I'm a Presbyterian, and I know the role that my pastors played in my moral development.
Absolutely.
But now, I think, I beg, with all respect, I think that our churches are failing the nation. And when I'm talking about the churches, I'm talking about religious sects in this country are failing the nation. We get role models that are coming up from some of them. They are not sending good signals to our young ones. And so as a society, we have a collective responsibility to reverse this issue.
Right.
But the bottom line is education. What type of education are we giving to our children? I am a human rights activist, even though not registered. And so protecting young children is very key to me. But I have an issue. We have banned corporal punishment, which is very good because we need to protect the young child. But human rights activists, my big question is, what do they do when a young child is developing a character that will be dangerous to the society? Why do they keep quiet? And yet when measures are taken to correct them, they come out to protect that. We need to rethink as Africans, how are we developing our children to fit into ours? It is one of the things that, and it's a big challenge to the education context. No, in the West, their individual focused culture does not in a way, raise questions when individuals have misbehaving than others. But in Africa and in Ghana, if I behave, they do not point to me as Oduro. They point to myself, my immediate family, the extended family, and even my church, everywhere.
Sure.
So the communal context, we need to adopt a communal approach to enforcing discipline in our schools.
I guess, and by the way, if you have just joined us, we are having a very interesting discussion on the value of education and its impact on the development of our young people vis-a-vis the development of the nation and, of course, Africa for that matter. And we are speaking to the technical advisor to the Minister of Education of Ghana, Professor Katie Oduro, who happens to be the former Vice Chancellor of the University of Cape Coast. Prof, I like the issues you have raised. The question I want to put to you, and even though you are not, like people will say, you are not a hardcore politician that we know, have we politicized our educational system?
Oh, yeah, no, I mean, let's look at it. If we
And is that a detriment to our national development?
Yeah, I'm coming to that.
Please.
If we do a historical trend, we'll find that education, even though there had been attempts of politicians to influence education in this country, there had been checks and balances which did not allow that to happen. I remember the first attempt was during the CPP era, when the then president wanted to interfere in Legon, the administration of Legon, because one, he was a chancellor, and all those things that came out what he changed the constitution to make himself a chancellor, and therefore took. So that went on. But during Kufuor's time, that reversed. Rawlings reversed it, and so the president ceased to be a chancellor of the university. So university councils had a chance of appointing their own. Okay. Now, it went on to...
But you and I know that most of these appointments are politically inspired.
So that's what I'm coming about. Now, during those periods, even though there were political undertones, they were not well pronounced. They were political undertones.
Absolutely.
But from 2017 to date, they have become very entrenched. Okay? So even at the top there, we find that it is entrenched, and it scales down. So our educational system has become, I don't say politicized, but partisanized.
Partisanized.
Okay, because we cannot take politics out of education. We can't take education out of politics. You need the two. Sure. But the danger is the partisanization. You belong to, and the two parties, NPP, NDC. But in 2017, the thing became very worse, where even in secondary school appointment, it is partisan. If you do not belong to, and I say this and get reference to myself, where because, we know the free SHS was introduced, a very good initiative so far as access is concerned, and so nobody actually condemned that. But the implementation and sustainability became an issue. And I was one of the first people who drew attention of the government.
I remember that.
Yeah. And I was
you and our good friend,
Napo,
the Minister of Education then.
We had that.
Most people don't know our relationship with Napo and all of that.
Yeah.
But that's another subject.
Yeah. Now, because of this constructive suggestion I made, I was barred from all national discourses of education.
Interesting.
And strangely, my own vice chancellor was used as a tool to suppress my contribution to that. But I thank God that once you've made a name and God has also established you, international bodies recognize me, and so I kept reading. So now to your question. I am not a hardcore politician, and some of my colleagues refer to me as an academic politician because, So my role as a technical advisor, I think, becomes very challenging. One, how do you balance your academic orientation with the political ideology? And one thing that has helped me, and I think that has leveraged me, is that throughout my student leadership trend, I've always tried to look at things from the lens of the constituents I represent. Now, as technical advisor, the label technical means that you should not look at things from politics. Advise the minister on real issues. If there's any policy, look at it objectively as an academic, and it is very encouraging because His Excellency the President set up a National Education Forum.
Right.
And one of the pillars around which stakeholders engage was evidence-based policy making.
Right.
And as technical advisor, I am to use evidence to inform the minister.
Okay.
If we do this, what, and that is exactly what I'm doing.
But would he listen?
So far,
Okay.
I can say that he has listened.
Right.
But we are 6 months into the journey.
Absolutely.
So that is on the bet. The encouraging thing is that he gives me the free hand
Okay.
to do my work as a technical advisor.
Right.
And I would also provide an evidence-based advice.
So, Prof, but I guess for me, I'm looking at the bigger picture.
Yeah.
Because as you alluded, we have made several attempts to partisanize our educational system. Yeah. How do we ensure that we can partisanize education from this sort of thing, practices that we have? Because you and I know the impact of education on the national level. How do we ensure that whether it's NDC or NPP or now here African Unity Party coming up, whichever party is in power will not have that freedom, so to speak. Yeah. Is there a way we can do that?
There is a way.
Okay.
But there's also the need for a will to do that. One way we can do this is our National Commission for Civic Education has a very big role to play.
Is it still existing?
Oh, it's existing.
Okay. Because I don't see that.
But we only hear from them when it is getting to elections.
Yes, that's what I'm asking. Is it still in existence?
Yeah, it's still in existence. Now, one challenge I have found is, as a nation, we find it very difficult to draw a line between government and party operations.
Absolutely.
If you appoint a district chief executive, the executive is for the district, for the constituency, who should see things from the lens of the district. And it goes up to regional minister, see things from the lens of the ministry, and to the minister, see things from the lens of the ministry. We have the party element. So at the district level, we have a district chairman of party A, party B, a regional chairman, party A. They are to look at things from the party lens. But then, in our context, we do not draw a line between the two.
Why?
So we have situations where you have governing council members, government nominees who are to represent government and project government agenda. But a number of them come in representing party interest.
Interesting.
And so that, in a way, dislocates operations of governing councils and boards. So one thing that the National Commission for Civic Education needs to do is not to wait till we get into election time, but right now start creating the awareness. There's also the need for us to look at our educational system, because it all starts with the teacher. If the teacher's mind is partisan, then this is instilled in the child. And so the child grows not with a national orientation, but partisan orientation.
Interesting.
So we need collectively as stakeholders to focus on our educational system, ensure that our teachers remember that they are paid by the taxpayer, not by party.
Right.
Okay? So teachers...
Which is important.
Important.
Very, very important.
So that teachers in the classroom will develop a national identity, make students develop the mind of national, but not partisan.
Right.
So our curriculum, how we design it, how we implement it, how we train our teachers, and these are things that the current government is really trying, even though not easy though.
Yeah, of course.
Not easy. Let me tell you one thing. We had an engagement with some colleagues, and we're talking about the dysfunctionalism of systems in our system,
right,
especially at the university level. Then one of them came out and said, look, George, I agree with you. It is not helping us. We need to fix it.
Right.
But the fixing should start from 2028, not now.
Why?
And his reason, simple. He belonged to one of the universities in
Right.
the central region, not University of Cape Coast.
Right.
He said he was due for appointment, okay? But because he was labeled as NDC,
Yes.
he was not offered that. His junior was appointed in acting capacity,
Right.
and his promotion facilitated, and then given that appointment. And meanwhile, he had been a professor for a very long time.
Right.
So if now the trend has changed, we need to balance the equation so that 2020
it should be after his
end, you know.
So is it not the same as, when you are in the opposition, say we would review the constitution, we'll do this, and then when you come, then...
So
But that's a challenge.
It's a challenge. We need a total mindset orientation.
Right.
A total mindset orientation. Right. And it will take a very long time. But for me, we should start from the kindergarten level, KG level.
Okay.
Let's get the right teachers who will be national focused. Let's get the right parents changing their orientation, not preaching and role modeling partisan and other sectionalistic characters at home. And it's a collective responsibility, my brother.
You talked about the educational forum that you did,
Yeah.
and you mentioned one of the pillars being going back to the kindergarten and also its value and evidence-based driven.
Yeah.
So tell us a bit about some of the key pillars vis-a-vis. One of the questions people are asking is this: the SSS. What has changed, and what is new? Yeah. So, in relation to the forum that you did, what are some of the key things that the Ghanaian should be looking out for?
Well,
it's too early in the day anyway. But
the committee has presented its report to His Excellency the President.
Sure.
The white paper is not yet out,
right.
And so I'm a bit constrained to go
Fantastic.
into
I
it.
agree.
But generally, about 3 SHs, stakeholders were concerned that whilst access has been expanded and we can boast of increased quality,
has actually gone down.
Especially when you get to the rural areas. We still, even at the basic level, there was neglect because of the expenditure on free SHS. So that was done at the disadvantage of basic education. Right. But if you do not have a strong foundation, then everything upwards.
People struggle.
And it's not surprising that malpractice has become an issue because people must pass.
Exactly.
Okay. So these are some of the things that the educational reform actually sought to address. As I said, because white paper is not yet out, I'm constrained.
Okay, no, that's fine.
But stakeholders actually express concern about equity and quality issues.
Okay, good. So, if you have just joined us again, this is the Channel 63, and we are having a very interesting conversation with Professor K.T. Oduro, the technical advice.
GKT.
GKT.
George K.T. Oduro. You know, my wife is Georgina, so I'm very particular about the George.
I hear you. But here we are talking about George, not Georgina.
No, Georgina,
fantastic.
Okay.
All right, and also the former Pro-Vice Chancellor of the University of Cape Coast, who also happened to be a very good friend of mine and a colleague, student leadership in several years.
Oh, you were a role model.
Thank you so much. Prof, let's talk a bit about science, technology, and education. Innovation, so to speak. Yeah. Now, if you look at the available statistics, it is said that by 2050, Africa is going to lead human capital sort of thing in the world. Now, how is Ghana's educational system positioned in a way that would churn out capable young people to drive this agenda for the country come 2050?
Yeah, thank you very much. If we look at just making reference to the National Education Forum, technology, STEM, came out very critical.
Yes.
And if you look at the government's manifesto, there's so much emphasis on science, mathematics, technology, and engineering.
Sure.
Across this, language has also been critical because the government believes that if you do not develop language, then science will suffer. Yes. All the others will suffer. So government is now, the review of the KG curriculum now, we're trying to find out how we can integrate these at the kindergarten level. A team traveled to Germany, and they know that issues of STEM start from the kindergarten level. And so they come out. So that's one thing we're doing. Then the government also thinks that, the ministry thinks that STEM should not be isolated. It should be integrated in our curriculum, because the normal life does not draw line between STEM.
All right.
Take the market woman. Mathematics comes in, science comes in a different way. So that is what we are doing, integrating that. Now, the ministry has a unit, a directorate called CENTLOS.
Okay.
Center for
That's fine.
Yeah,
That's fine.
yeah.
Just tell her what
That has been tasked with the responsibility of looking at IT, integrating this into the system. In 2026, the ministry is hosting an e-learning Africa conference in this country.
Right.
And all these are geared towards preparing our young ones for them. Now we have a GTVET that is looking at the governance, regulatory services of our technical, vocational, and IT systems. We have a TVET service that is focusing on developing skills in technology. Right. At the ministry level, at the policy level, moves are being made to ensure that there is a strong unit that will be promoting these things. So there is an intentional attitude towards helping young ones to develop skills that will meet. One other thing that is come out strongly is, because of AI, as early as possible, AI should be integrated in our curriculum.
Fantastic.
Alongside coding. All these things are being worked on. Now, with AI, my personal opinion is that, you know, we are being pushed by the West.
Right.
They are at a certain level, we are not yet there.
Yes.
And so my caution has always been that Africa must embrace AI, but with caution.
Yes.
We should establish the foundation so we can leverage on that to come out with an AI system that will benefit Africa.
Absolutely.
Else, we will be behaving and dancing to the tune of West Africa, the West, whilst we suffer.
But when it comes to technology, Africa has not really built the capacity that can compete with the West, isn't it?
And that is the more reason we need to be cautious. Okay.
All right.
So if the West is operating from level C, they have gone through level A, level B, to level C.
Yeah, sure. So we need to make
sure. So we need to make sure that we have strengthened level A.
Right.
That is my concern.
Well, the good thing,
and let me say one thing. I was at a conference and this AI issue came, and the magic and all that. Then I said, you see, Africa, things we take for granted. AI connotes creativity. If you are not creative, you cannot respond to AI and all those things all those things. When we had that asset, you know, our old ladies and all those, they could project into the future. We branded them witches and wizards. But now, someone has packaged that very well, and we are embracing that. Okay.
Interesting.
So we need, as Africans, we need to embrace it, but we should be cautious.
Wonderful. Yeah. Prof, we're going to I want us to go back, to the issue of, what you call the morality and stuff like that among the young people. But before we do that, if you are a female, upwardly mobile a leader or professional, or you are in the gender space, I want you to listen to this advert which is coming, because I think you need to prepare for this program which is coming up. Listen to this advert.
Are you ready to shape the future of leadership? The Africa Future Leaders Institute of Global Affairs presents African Women in Global Leadership Program, a 5-weekend transformational experience designed for upwardly mobile female professionals. This program blends deep theoretical insights, real-world case studies, and dynamic workshops to equip you with the tools for transformational leadership, policy impact, and global engagement. starting the 6th of September 2025. Time 8:11 a.m. GMT and 1 p.m. Eastern Africa Time 12 o'clock p.m. SAT. Participation fee only $250 for the full 5 weekends. This is your opportunity to lead boldly, influence globally, and stand out as a woman of purpose in a changing world. Follow us on all social media platforms to register now. Visit www.afliga.org. Let your global leadership journey begin today.
Welcome back to Channel 63 in having this discussion with Professor G.K.T. Oduro.
Yes.
Now I've added a G.
You've added a G.
But here, George, not Georgina. Georgina is going to be with us too. Anyway.
Oh, okay.
Yes, so, Prof, if you look at the Agenda 2063, it has several aspirational pillars. One of the pillars, which is aspiration 5 of the Agenda 2063, says that African cultural identity, values, and ethics as a critical factor in Africa's re-emergence on the global stage in the decade of the 20s and the 2010s will be promoted and strengthened by 2063. Now, I've quoted this aspiration in reference to the lack of morality, values, civic responsibility among our young people in our country, and not only in our country, across the continent. So my question for you is, when you hear these terms, morality, civic responsibility, ethics, values, and what have you, how do you feel about them as a parent and also as a professional educationist?
I feel sad. I feel sad because they become, for me, they become rhetorics. We talk about them, at church we preach about them, we listen to them. On platforms, we talk about them. But translating them into reality has been challenging.
Right.
You know, I earlier made mention of some of the conducts of our young ones, secondary school, who want to behave like chief executives, girls who want to behave like achieved women and all those things. But we know that the school system seeks to prepare the young ones for further studies, for the world of work, and for adulthood. And we need those building blocks to help our young ones, to attain that. But in practice, because as parents, we have failed our responsibility, because now there are homes where father, mother are working, the child has no role model at home, she or she is giving everything, but the parents are not there. It has its own implications. We have school systems where teachers do not place the welfare of the learner as the heart of his or his activities in the school. And therefore, the child goes to school, all that the child thinks about is that, look, I must pass my exams and go. The other aspects of morality, conduct, character, the soft skills.
And there are situations where the teachers are also not being taken good care of.
Yeah, so I'll be coming.
You should mention that. But some of my friends are teachers.
Yeah, I'll be coming.
Very good friends of mine.
I'll be coming to that angle. Now, if you talk about the cultural values of Africa, we are talking about communal values. And in our communal values, it is complementary duality. You help each other to survive. And so parents have to play their responsibility so that the child also plays his or her responsibility. And this transfers to our formal system. Institutions must play their responsibility in the performance contract. You provide the necessary things that will help the teacher teach, so that you can hold the teacher responsible. But over the years, we have not responded to this yet.
Absolutely.
We expect the teacher to perform, and yet we do not create the enabling environment.
And you tell their reward is in heaven. Meanwhile, the politician is enjoying all the bread and butter here.
Well, so that is a very challenging issue, and it boils down to what I refer to as the mindset orientation. If we identify education as critical in our socioeconomic development, then to start with, the highest percentage of our budget must go to education. If we identify the foundational level as critical in developing the personality we need to service our industry, to service our service organizations, to service our society, then the greatest portion of our budget allocation should go to the foundational level. Absolutely. If we identify the teacher as critical, when I was young, my teacher I know was next, I assumed was next to God. Okay? If we identify the teacher as critical, and it all starts with the teacher, then we should pay particular attention to the teacher. Right. In that case, we can have the moral right to take the teacher to task if he or she is failing. Right. So it calls for stakeholder engagement because government cannot do it all alone. Sure. Okay. We have situations in some communities where communities have become very intentional in ensuring that teachers who are posted there in terms of their accommodation, in terms of their welfare, the community is actively involved in that. And we see the difference of teachers' operations. Absolutely. We have others who think that, look, teachers, you are paid by government. And so if you are brought here, we don't care about your accommodation, we don't care about that. You get to the classroom, the teacher doesn't have even a chair to sit on. Yeah. And nobody cares. But at the end of the day, we expect the teacher. This thing must actually reverse. And that is why I'm particularly happy. And I'm praying that it materializes. And I'm sure His Excellency, the President, will really make it material because he has said that. That teachers who are posted to the rural areas, at least 20% of their salary should be given added to them to compensate.
Only those in the rural areas?
That rural areas.
Why that?
Yeah.
Okay, to
attract people to the rural areas. Okay. Because it's one way of cushioning them, the difficulty that they have.
But Prof, if indeed you and I agree that education is critical in our national development and teachers play such a critical role, why focus only on those in the rural areas? Because cost of living actually in the cities are even higher than the rural areas. Yeah,
that's so. We are working within constraints. Okay. And our children in the rural areas. No, let me refer you to China. Right. If you read China literature in terms of development, sure. When they were planning their focus was on the rural community because they wanted to bridge the gap. Right. And so a chunk of their investment went to the rural disadvantaged to bring them up. In Ghana, we have many people migrating from rural to Accra. Yeah. Creating challenges. Migration. If we focus on rural and develop the rural component, we will balance those things. All right. No. So that is why.
So, I mean, you and I think from this discussion, we've concluded, or all agreed, that education is critical.
It's critical, and moral aspects is
so with the decadence going on within among the young people and all of that, and yet you live in a continent where almost everybody says he's a Christian or a Muslim. In other words, he's religious.
They're religious, yeah.
From where you sit, in practice, what role do you think that in the whole broader scheme of things, faith-based institutions can play practically?
Well, when we come
from where you sit.
When we come to discipline, it's on record. And as a Presbyterian myself, I know the role that the Presbyterian Church,
just like the Catholics,
played in the past in terms of instilling, because they had so much influence on their schools and ensure that they balanced discipline with performance. Right. Now, but over the years, because of finance issues, and I always say that because the church, some of the churches have become individual-driven than system-driven, we find that monies that should go to schools are not going there. Church schools are not going there. And this compounded. But now there's dialogue going on. Okay. Government and faith-based institutions are dialoguing as to how best the faith-based institutions, the churches, religious bodies can take control. Because we cannot talk about balancing the head, the heart, and the hand without faith-based institutions, the character component. Okay. I also want to use your forum to appeal to our churches, our pastors, that they should,
and our reverends,
and our
bishops,
and our
archbishops, and the apostles,
that whatever they do, they should ask themselves, what signal am I giving to the young ones?
This is a leadership test.
Yeah, seriously. Because to the young ones, majority of them, I think, Achimota School.
Right.
There was a time, there was a study I was conducting,
Right.
trying to find out the career orientation. I was surprised that most students want to be either pastors, footballers, or actors.
Right.
Actors and actors.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, these were the things.
Right.
They are very good.
Right.
And when I probed, why do you want to become a pastor? Some said, oh, they want to be rich. Okay? Football, they say they want to be rich. And if richness is what is motivating our young ones, then it poses a very great challenge to our reverend ministers and others. We should rethink.
Right.
Wow.
I know there are few who want to ask questions. Please, you can send your questions by text as we bring this program to an end, and Prof will answer them before he leaves. So if you have any question, please send them by text. Put them in the chat box, and then we'll read them out with your name so that we can have an answer to that. Prof, we are bringing this to an end, but let's go back to your leadership. I know, when I was there as a president, along the same level, you were the National NUCS president and all of that. How did it begin for you?
Well, as to how it began, I always stress it.
And I'm asking this question because if you look at what is happening at campuses today, common student elections have become so politicized that our national political parties...
You see, I wouldn't say politicized. They've become partisanized.
Partisanized. Okay.
Okay.
So that's partisanized.
Yeah.
How did it begin for you, and what lesson can we learn from our time to what is happening now?
Yeah. My leadership started...
please text your questions to put in the chat box, and we shall read them out for you.
My leadership, for me, started in my childhood stages. When my parents, my parents gave birth to 10 children. And according to them, the first 2, it would have been 12. The first 2 couldn't survive. I was the person who came and survived. And so they assumed, they started calling me leader. Oh, Nana, and all those things. So I think that in a way instilled in me that I had leadership. And actually at the barracks, I always came out to defend the weak person.
Right.
Especially when they went to fetch water and there was a bullying, I always stepped in.
Right.
And this carried on through. And throughout, I had been a student leader and finally became the NUCS president. And I got the orientation that every leader must provide leadership based on the needs and the vision of the constituents. And so that was what I had. But for some reason, and I will attribute it to the get-rich-quick orientation. Okay. You remember our time? Yes, there were political undertones, there were partisan undertones, and yet NUCS operated as NUCS. NUCS leadership looked at things from the lens of NUCS. But here, I was surprised to learn that at one Congress, we had 2 Congress, one in Hohwe or Ho and one in Accra, based on NDC, NPP. That's a disgrace to our young people. It's not sending any good signal to the younger ones, and it's not giving us any hope in the future. Right. Because NUCS need to train people who will develop national identity and project national agenda.
But who is influencing them?
Yeah, money.
Yeah, but who gives them the money? Is it not the politicians?
Is a politician.
I'm not including you because I know you're not a...
I'm coming to that.
Yeah.
Is the politician.
Right.
But the politician cannot do that if the individual knows what he or she
is about.
When I was a NUCS president...
Same applies to you.
I got offers, but I remember that I was there for my students.
But I got a visa to go to London anyway.
Okay. Okay, but it's now you find... even in our secondary schools, you find student leaders at speech and prize giving coming to deliver, and you find security people behind them. It's not giving us any right.
Are they not copying these things from...
They are copying blindly.
Yes.
Blindly.
Yes.
And so it means that it boils down to the school system. We need to change. Let our students behave as students. So that the building blocks will come out. Let them know that they are being prepared as leaders for the nation, leaders for our organizations. Where in an organization, as head, you deal with people because they are staff of the people,
Absolutely.
not because they belong to your
Absolutely.
party or they are your tribe people
Absolutely.
and others.
Absolutely.
Gender issues come in and all. So the education system, we have a lot to do.
Yeah.
It all starts with the teacher.
Anyway, I think, Prof, I know I can't keep you for the whole time. You have to
actually, but
run.
I wish-
you know,
yes,
as we are
yes,
talking,
yes,
I can
yes,
see
yes.
that, you know. So there are a few comments that have come in. This one says, so this point you raise about the education brings in the perspective of TAIN and TESCON in the national discourse. It may be viewed that it's brainwashing our youth. To have a total mindset orientation is also to get the politicians to elevate the argument. And Ebenezer Annan. What do you say to that? The TAIN and the TESCON?
There's nothing. People have argued that we should ban tribal groupings,
Right.
political groupings on campus and all those things. I don't think the issue is with banning them.
Right.
The issue is giving them the right orientation, because these platforms create platforms for leadership development.
Right.
So what type of mentality are we giving them in school? If we take a university where we have TAIN, we have TESCON and whatever you talk about, what measures are the school put in place to create a system where TAIN and TESCON will see themselves as one person who will operate in the interest of the university? So that if TAIN has its government
Yes.
session, the university will benefit.
Okay.
So that if TESCON has its government session, the university will benefit. So the university has to create an enabling environment to take advantage of these people, prepare them well. So if you're a vice chancellor and you belong to, let's say, TESCON, and TAIN is organizing a program, you are invited,
Right.
you have to go.
Okay.
Because you are a vice chancellor.
Yes.
If TESCON is organized, you have to go.
Because you are.
The same thing in the religion. If you're a Christian
Yeah.
and the Muslim society is organizing something, we have the balanced leader,
Right.
a visionary leader who would balance this, who will not see things from the lens of his partisan or religious orientation.
Do you have an instance where a vice chancellor will say, I won't go because it's TESCON and he's a TAIN?
Oh,
It happens.
we have cases.
Really?
Others will pretend that they have other things. Even when flag bearers during campaign time, they are coming in. When they say those belong to the other campaign, they create the necessary arrangement. The others one, they will pretend to travel. We have cases of that.
Then you have a lot of work to do.
A very lot.
You have a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
Now, somebody's
Mindset,
asking
yeah.
a very African-oriented question. Is there any deliberate effort from the AU, African Union, to address the inclusion of AI in our educational system yet? I think you have talked
With
about
the
it in Ghana.
AU, I cannot tell, but I know the Association of African Universities
Right.
is very much concerned with that. And the Association for the Development of Education in Africa is also concerned. In fact, I must use you. I'm not marketing though.
Sure.
In October this year,
Right.
the Association for the Education Development in Africa is
Right.
holding its congress in Ghana here.
Right.
And AI is one of the key issues that we're looking
Interesting.
at. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to ask Prof to give his final remarks before he leaves us to go and do his technical work at the Ministry of Education. But this is Channel 63, hosted at the Africa Future Leaders Institute of Global Affairs Studios in Accra. And Prof, it's been an honor having you in our studios. Before you go, there's another text that has come in, and I want to read that before we leave here, so that you give your final remarks. What is the text? I can't find it now. Oh my goodness. All right. So, Prof, that's your camera.
Okay.
We've talked about a number of things with respect to our educational system in Ghana, in Africa. We've talked about the moral decadence that we are seeing among our young people, which is scary. What final message do you have for the youth of Ghana, but by extension, the youth of our continent?
Thank you.
With respect to leadership, everything that's on your mind.
Thank you very much, Doc, and I must commend you for this initiative, which for me will help develop young people of Ghana and Africa, because we need that. Now, to my listeners, as Africans, we have an identity. And that identity hinges on communal values. And at the center of these communal values is character. And it is our youth that gives us hope for sustenance. The youth is our backbone as Ghanaians, as Africans. We can only develop our youth to sustain the values of our nation if we pay particular attention to our education system. So my appeal is that governments in Africa should look at the wealth, the future of young ones within the context of African values first, before thinking global. We need an African who will be very happy, proud as an African within the context of global citizenship. Not an African who would excel in global citizenship at the detriment of Africa. So we need a balanced education. The heart, the hand, and the head must be balanced in our educational system. In that case, we will have hope. If we fail to do this, we will only educate our young ones for the West, which will not help us. I wish you all the best. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Prof. A few comments that have just come in, which we've addressed. It's the issue of politicization of student leadership and all of that. Somebody wanted to know what's your decision on elected student leaders boldly declaring their support for political parties, which you
I don't support that.
Fantastic.
I don't support that simply because the student leader, even though he or she is not paid, is given some allowances.
Right.
When he travels to conferences and congresses, it is the student money, dues that is paid. And the student dues, it is not a partisan due. Student leaders are not supported by NDC or TAIN students or TESCON students or what else. So it is morally wrong for that to happen. And our appeal to my colleague politicians that let us leave students alone. So students prepare themselves from national leadership. Once you get the right student for national leadership, you get the right one for party leadership.
Interesting.
But if you focus on party leadership, you derail national leadership.
I think we have some work to do on that.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that we can take that discussion later on, because you are there, I'm here, and Napo is there, your colleague.
Haruna himself, my minister, is there.
Ablakwa is there. All these guys are student leaders. Fifi Kote, who was my colleague at Legon, he's also there. Now, so I think we have a lot of work to do, which we have to carry on. But ladies and gentlemen, it's been a great pleasure hosting my good friend, my brother, Professor GKT Oduro, not Georgina, the wife, but George himself here in our studios. And the issue we've been talking about basically is about the youth and education in Africa, particularly in Ghana. And it's been a pleasure, having you to join us. And I can trust you that a lot more of such discourses are coming your way. This has been Emmanuel Daitumi, and I'm the Executive Director of Africa Future Leaders Institute of Global Affairs. It's an honor having you, and see you one more time. Thank you. Prof.
Thank you very much for this occasion.
Thank you so much. Right. Thank you.
Are you ready to shape the future of leadership? The Africa Future Leaders Institute of Global Affairs presents African Women in Global Leadership Program, a 5-weekend transformational experience designed for upwardly mobile female professionals. This program blends deep theoretical insights, real-world case studies, and dynamic workshops to equip you with the tools for transformational leadership, policy impact, and global engagement. Starting the 6th of September, 2025. Time 8:11 a.m. GMT and 1 p.m. Eastern Africa Time, 12 o'clock p.m. SAT. Participation fee, only $250 for the full 5 weekends. This is your opportunity to lead boldly, influence globally, and stand out as a woman of purpose in a changing world. Follow us on all social media platforms to register now. Visit www.afliga.org. Let your global leadership journey begin today.